Welcome back, live stream. We're just wrapping down lunch. The teams are heads down again working. So it's my pleasure to introduce Daniel Coupal, who's a developer advocate at MongoDB. So we'll be chatting a little today about MongoDB, about some insights on the startup ecosystem right now and MongoDB's work. So Daniel, so nice to meet you. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Katrin. I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing really well. How are you feeling the energy of the space?
This is amazing. Well, it's interesting we say energy because on one hand, there's so much brain power happening today, all these people working really hard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is so silent. If you go to the area where people are working, it's like you don't hear anything.
Yes.
So everyone is like really focused on their tasks right now.
Yeah, we were just saying at other hackathons, you were tripping over extension cords and there's people rallying around pitching their projects, but everyone is just so focused and heads down now because speed is the name of the game.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, we'd love to get to know a little bit about you. How did you end up at MongoDB? You've been there for about almost 12 years now, so.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I've done a lot of things in my career, mostly always related to software engineering. And I was an independent consultant for many years toward the end, and I ended up working on a project where we ended up using MongoDB. And I loved the product so much that I decided that once my contract was going to be over, I was not going to search for more, but I was going to apply to the company. And hey, it's been, as you said, I've been there for a long time and I enjoy the ride. And if I stay there, I still think we have the best product out there and we have a lot more to do. So yeah, looking forward for the next years to see what's going to happen with our company.
Fabulous. Well, help get us oriented on the MongoDB product for anyone out there who might not have heard of MongoDB before. What do you do?
What I do personally on the product?
What the product does, yeah.
Well, again, we've been in the business for a long time. So we were born as a document database with the new wave of modern database around the 2010, and that was like our niche for many years. But over the years, we've become more like a general purpose database, adding functionality like to support graph database, to support text search like Elasticsearch. To support vector search, to support time series. Yeah, and the big one really, in the last 2 years has really been vector search with the AI taking all the energy in the world.
Yes.
We also went into it, and we were lucky because Gen AI works really well with unstructured data, and this is what a document is, and this is where we store the data ourselves. So adding the ability to store vectors with the document, all the information about what you try to vectorize in the same location is a great asset, and it's a great way. So great benefits for us to that. AI is going that direction.
Absolutely. Well, you touched on this a little bit, but I'd love to just get a sense of how the ecosystem has changed around MongoDB. I would say rate of change over the last decade, but then more specifically rate of change over the last 2 years.
Yeah, the last 2 years, all has been around AI.
Yeah.
The message has changed. We still have a lot of other functionality to keep care of all the existing applications there that are not ready to go to AI, but performance is important. MongoDB has always been like one of the main product for those. People who want to develop very quickly, MongoDB also, it's one of the best product for that. So that's been or kind of for pillars in the previous years, but AI is changing the world. So
yeah. So what is MongoDB's best use in this new AI boom?
In the new AI boom, I think that having a data platform where you have everything together is going to be a big asset. We are, because we support vectors, a vector database, but there's other solutions there, and I think a lot of the solutions that do vector database are kind of similar.
Yeah.
But the fact that we can offer a lot more than that through our product, through our hosted version in Atlas, where we have additional tools to do archiving, to do querying, to do if you have time series, if you have a lot of other things that you want to do with your data, which is going to be the case. I was talking to someone this morning, and that person told me that in their solution, they're a startup, they have a database for the vectors, and they have another database for the query part. And I was like, yeah, we do both.
You could do it all.
She said, I know, but the person who started that didn't know MongoDB, but we're looking into it. And I was like, you should certainly look into it. It's going to be much simpler for you.
What kind of efficiency do you think that person would find if they centered at their two solutions?
Well, you get to have all the data in one location. You don't have to write this pipeline in between, which always has been a drag on the data community, between the world of transaction processing and analytics. It's still not resolved. There are still a lot of people trying to look for the solution there, but this concept of having to write code that's going to transfer data from one location to the other one is very expensive for most of the customers, and everyone who would like to avoid that, will probably do that solution. But I never realized that some people also now do it with their regular database and the vectors, and so that's why using MongoDB would make it so much easier for them.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. So what's one lesson you've learned about building really the technology or community around it with MongoDB that's really kind of stuck out to you?
There are two aspects. I work a lot with a large organization. I take care of the top 50 customers at MongoDB. And we do have a lot of people who have a lot of experience with relational database, and it's twofold. The first is sometimes they're a little bit reluctant to go to a new technology because they're going to feel they don't know as much as what they knew. But it's true or not. The first part is there's a lot of things that are simply just database stuff. If you know you model data, entity relationship diagrams, this still apply even if you're going to another database type. How transaction work, how you interact with the database and connecting and getting cursor and all that. So there's a lot of knowledge that just transfer. What you need to do is to be able to understand what is different to the new technology you're going to go to, and put more emphasis in learning those things. So this is what my team is doing, is we go educate our customers, and we try to put the emphasis on what we think is really different, where if they don't do it right, it's not going to be good for them, that they should really know those aspects.
What are a couple of those big things to know?
I was very lucky because I think the one that at the beginning was not very clear for MongoDB because we didn't put much emphasis on that, was about data modeling. We thought that you didn't, because people were saying, you don't need a schema in MongoDB, just go put your data in. But we quickly realized that doesn't really work well. The people who have a good schema are going to have a much better solution. So this is what my team is doing, is a lot of training around data modeling. So we do presentation on it, but we also do a lot on one-on-one projects. So if you're a large customer of us, you can just ask for a design review. It's totally free service. And we're going to go work on your model and help you figure out things that you could do better to have a much more efficient model, which may reduce by an order of magnitude the cost of your cluster.
Yes, and when we talk about cost of compute these days, we're hypersensitive to that. Well, you literally wrote the book on MongoDB schema. Can you give us some of the major insights from the book that would be helpful for teams building?
In data modeling, one of the motto that I have is what you're using together in the application should be stored together in the database. So when you model in MongoDB, you always have the choice to either reference the data, which is like the relational way between tables and foreign keys, or to embed things, which would be taking two tables and putting them together, the result of a join. And the question you ask yourself is, how am I using the data? And it goes back to what we just talked about, the costs. If you're going to do an operation and it's 90% of all the operation you're doing on your system, and that operation has to do 3 reads, if you can take these 3 pieces and put them together, you're going to be doing 1 read operation. You may just have reduced the cost, the number of operations of your cluster by a factor 3. You may just have divided the cost of your cluster by a factor 3. So doing the right model is going to save you a lot on the performance. But then you also have the balance. You shouldn't try to over-optimize for something that performance is not as important versus agility. And MongoDB is very good to help you develop a solution very quickly, migrate your schema and all that. So if this is the most important aspect on your project, optimization are good, but also be careful about what your main goal is.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you do a lot of big company work. When is MongoDB the best tool, let's say even in this environment where you're starting truly from scratch?
Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit biased because I've been at MongoDB for so long that now my mind is always thinking in a MongoDB solution.
Yeah.
So there's very few cases where I don't recommend MongoDB.
Yeah.
Pure analytical, analytic data, data warehouse do a better job. And for those, I want to be careful that the customer is not going to use us in a bad use case. Again, because we work with the largest customer in my team, we want to be sure that we're not going to tell them that MongoDB is a good solution if it's not, because bad news go probably faster than good news in that organization. I'd rather that you don't take that project, but the 50 next teams are all using MongoDB because everyone is super amazed and they like it.
Yeah, but I would say when Andrew taught the AI Fund staff how to code, MongoDB was the database that we used to start. So that was cool. And now it's my home solution, my emotional safe place is MongoDB. So you talk specifically about the AI products that are starting to build. Can you talk about MongoDB's role in that? So early AI products, how can you set yourself up for success for building to a scaled solution?
Yeah, I think one of the things that databases are doing well these days, to complement the LLM, is having this the vector database part.
Yes.
Because the most important thing, it's going to be faster than if you ask the LLM if you have a reduced set of what you're looking through. That kind of makes sense.
Yep.
But the other very important thing is you're going to get more predictable results. So I can go through my vectors in my database, get the piece of information that belongs to my organization, which could be answers to questions that I may try to get you through the system, or service I want to offer you. But I can put that in the prompt, and then I know my answer first will be within what I want to answer.
Yes.
But also it will be more predictable because the LLM will build an answer out of that will be the same all the time. And then we know also right now that the system are not very good about reproducing the same answers.
I mean, that's the core new part about a lot of these LLMs is they're non-deterministic and an enterprise need often.
If it's you and I asking Google a question and we get a different or slightly different answer, it's fine. But for an organization to get a different answer, sometimes that would not be acceptable.
Yes, we've been talking a lot about use cases, let's say like insurance, where if you're offering, policies to customers, it's really important that you're doing that on a consistent basis and that the output is very similar. And
so vectors do very well for that. And that's been like the foundation for a lot of the databases right now. And what we're doing next, this year we acquired a company called Voyage AI. Which has models, but also has re-rankers. As a matter of fact, they may have some of the best re-rankers in the market right now.
What's the importance of re-rankers?
Re-ranker will get you more precise results. So instead of just once you get the result from your vectors back, you can ask the re-ranker to re-rate those results based on the question again. And it gives more precise answers. So we're very excited with that. Again, it goes into your philosophy that we wanted to invest more in AI, and we got the occasion to acquire this company. As a matter of fact, some will be here later, me even being the judge.
Fantastic.
And and one of the goals we want is to make the whole system about doing this vectorization of your data in an easier way. So right now, people have to go to the database, and then they have to go call the LLM, get vectors, store them in. So we would like to make that simpler. So we'll have a bunch of announcements in the following months.
A teaser.
Exciting. Look for a big conference in September in New York, and in October in London. Those are two flagship conferences. So we should have some interesting announcement there.
Okay, I'm tuned in. Curious, really for how the tools, like modern day coding tools, kind of what we're seeing here, have they changed your work internally? Have they changed the way that you're approaching your teams? And
I think AI is changing everything you're doing. Every single task you have to start looking, can I can AI help me do that?
Yeah.
It's right now, things are going to get better. Some people may criticize a few things, but it's just going to get better.
Yeah.
But right now, you need to understand the limits. So I think right now you have to be extremely good at describing what you want. And you have to be good at verifying if the result is good. Because we know there are some things the AI is still not doing very well right now, and they could be better. So have this understanding of something being good or not good is still important. If you're a junior programmer and you can't tell if the code is good because you've never used these technology or whatever, it's going to be more difficult versus someone who has the experience.
100%. Well, we're just about wrapping up here. So is there anything you can leave people with of kind of what you're most excited about in the next 2 years or next 10 years coming from MongoDB?
Coming from MongoDB, well, in general, I'm not even sure if I want to make any kind of prediction in the next X years. I would have been so wrong a few years ago with what's happening today. It's just exciting. But I just hope that we're going to get this growth that I'm expecting, because as I said, I still believe we have the best product out there. We still have a small share of the market. Relational databases like Oracle still grab most of the revenues. One thing we're very excited, and we already had some success with some companies, but we just need that to become even easier and better, is helping companies get out of their relational solution. For example, there's a bank in Australia, we helped through a professional service to get X project out of their relational solution in a month.
Wow.
And everything was done through mostly AI.
Yeah.
So we use AI to generate tests at the beginning. We work with them. The product we're probably in good shape to start with, which is pretty important today. But generate tests, and then we put the code in the system and ask to make the translation to the model in MongoDB. And then get the code, get the replacement code for their stored procedure and all that. And then they were able to replace all that, rerun the tests, and that by the end of few iteration, they were on all these projects, they were passing 99% of the tests automatically.
Wow. That's huge.
Just have to work on the last little bit.
Yeah.
But if we can get that to the next level where it's so easy and anyone can do it, we think that we're going to see a lot more of these old systems being refactored. And I've also heard from some people predicting that you may just take a software project and ask ChatGPT to extract the requirements of it, and then from the requirements, regenerate me a solution into something else. So the world's going to be changing a lot for us in the next few
Extreme rate of change. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today, and so excited to hear what you guys are announcing in September.
Okay.
Edge of my seat. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.